I often get contacted about people and the job that they'll get in the Air Force. So that's what I want to talk about today. Most people come in open general, at least on the enlisted side. I did as well. If you're lucky enough to get a recruiter that will work with you, depending on what job you qualify, to get the job signed on your contract from the beginning. In other words, you'll know exactly what job you'll get. I came in open general. I knew about that. I was hoping to get firefighter, and I did get it, and that's how I came in. So sometimes it's going to work for you, sometimes it won't. I do have notes here. Just remember, the needs of the Air Force will always come first. That's one. Two is, depending on your ASVAB scores or your AFOQT scores, your background, your degree, if you come in on the officer side, will also determine which job you get. You'll get job preference as well. But what I mean by that is, I don't remember if it's 6 or 8 jobs that you'll see you're eligible for, that you can say, I want this number 1, this number 2, and so forth. And again, sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. Once you go to your technical training, everybody's going to go through technical training. You'll go through the tech school, technical training. Then you'll continue with OJT, which is on-the-job training, at least for the enlisted side, when you get to your first base. And then you'll have upgrade training as well. Remember, whatever job you get, you should aim to be the expert in your job. That way, when somebody has a question, you're that go-to person, even if you like the job or you don't like the job. Another thing that I've seen is you will be observed by your supervisor, by your management, by your leadership to see how good of a job you do or how good of a job you don't do. I came in as a firefighter, like I said. I enjoyed it. I realized, okay, I got my number 1 choice, but I wasn't crazy about it. I still did a good job, completed my upgrade training, and then they offered me, when I had 2 stripes, to be extinguisher maintenance. And what that was is I would show up to work Monday through Friday. I wasn't on shift anymore because I used to work 24 on, 24 off. I worked Monday through Friday from 7:30 to about 4:30 or 5. Monday through Friday, have the evenings off. So for me, as an A1C, I said, thank you for that opportunity, and I took it. It worked for me. That goes back to your leadership watching you to see if you do a good job or not. Retraining will be an option as a first-term airman. Take advantage of that, especially if you don't like your job. Again, if you do a good job, your leadership will support your application to retrain. That's what they did for me, and I trained into personnel. I wanted that stability of Monday through Friday, evenings off, go to college, be with my family while still serving. So that's what I did. If you're a first-term airman and you sign a 4-year contract, that window will be right around the 3-year mark. If you sign up for 6 years, that window will be right around the 4-year mark. Now, don't take my word as to when that window opens and closes. Go to the experts, the military personnel section, and they'll walk you through how to apply. When I went to personnel technical training, again, same thing. Technical training, on-the-job training, and upgrade training when I got back to my next base. Next thing is there's going to be opportunities often for us as individuals to do something outside. It's to explore a different area for 3 years. Examples could be, you could be an instructor, you could be a recruiter, you can be a military training instructor, equal opportunity, first sergeant. First sergeant is for master sergeant and above, senior and chief. So depending on your rank is what you can do. But always keep an eye out. I did a special duty, that's what that's called, and I did equal opportunity for 3 years. And then I said, okay, I'm going back to personnel. Eventually you're going to have that crossroads. Okay, I did this job for the Air Force. Do I like the Air Force? Yes. Do I like my job? Yes. You continue. Do you like the Air Force? Yes. Do I like my job? No. And do what I did is I retrained. That is a crossroads that you're going to have to decide what you want to do. More importantly, if you decide, okay, I'm going to leave the Air Force after 4 years, 6 years, or whatever amount of time, that you have a solid plan B to execute. Because you don't want to move back to your parents' basement with your husband, with your wife, and your children, if that's the case. I know it happens sometimes, but it's not something that I would really want to do, at least for a long period of time. The other thing that you should do is speak with your leadership, your supervisor, your mentors, so they can kind of guide you and perhaps even give you ideas that you may not have thought about should you consider continuing in the Air Force. I strongly feel that what our careers are, whether it's the Air Force or company, whatever, is our outlook, what we make of it. Again, I was a firefighter. I enjoyed it. I wasn't crazy about it. I still did a good job, good enough to be selected for a position that was good, extinguisher maintenance. And my responsibility was, like I said, Monday through Friday, to service all of the extinguishers on 2 bases, halon extinguishers, dry chemical, and water extinguishers, on the entire 2 bases. It's what you make of it. An example is this. If you are married and you have a bad week, you should not say, I'm out, have a good life, and take off in your own direction. And that's the way the military is, because it is a contract for 4 or 6 years that we sign up. So we have to make the most of it. And it's not always going to be a perfect job or a perfect situation. Another thing that I've done, and this is very important, this is the type of person that I am, is I'm always watching and listening for opportunity. I've been trained, where I go TDY, temporary duty, and been trained to do additional jobs. Bystander intervention training is what I did for 2 years, and I would facilitate classes for males on what would you do if you saw this at work, if you saw this at the bar, things like that, scenarios. It's kind of like that TV show, What Would You Do? I did that for 2 years for the Air Force. Another thing is as a human resource individual, personnel individual, I like dealing with people. I was offered mediation training, so I am a Department of Defense certified mediator, where I will bring in 2 parties who I have no affiliation with and try to have them fix whatever challenges they may be going through. Another thing is resiliency training. So I took this class. The commitment was that I'd have to teach classes on base, and that's something that I like to do on how we can be resilient. There's opportunities like that. Sometimes they are related to your job, sometimes they're not. Look at the big picture with your job. I'll give you a perfect example. As I'm doing this job for 3 years, it's 82 miles from my house. I like the job. I don't love the job. But the big picture is, how am I going to benefit? I'm on active duty for 3 years. I'm getting retirement points towards my retirement. The pay is really good. I work with great people. I get to lead. I get to learn new things. And look at that big picture. It's kind of like this. If a company offers you X number of dollars, but they have a great benefit package like the Air Force does, take advantage of those benefits. Examples are the fitness center, pay, retirement points, medical benefits. The list goes on and on. So there's a lot of benefits out there that we can take advantage, that I can take advantage of as well. Don't wait for opportunity to come to your door. You go out there and seek it. One question to ask yourself is, are you the right person for this job? Sometimes the answer is going to be no. Sometimes the answer is going to be yes. If you're in a job already and you're thinking, hey, this is perfect, great. If you're thinking, maybe I'm not the right person for this job, here's what I'll tell you is learn, adapt, and you will succeed. You work with the team, you'll be able to do good with your team. Another thing is, my example is I work personnel, and in the past I've worked personnel in different sections. So maybe you're crazy about the current job that you're doing and you don't want to go over there, but your leadership says we're not going to put you into a different job in personnel. Just go with it and learn. It's temporary, because eventually it'll be time for you to move to another section or move to another base. I'll end it with this. Pay attention where you are with your job. Seek out what you can learn, how you can improve, how you can grow as an individual, how you can grow as a leader, and also how you can grow with the team that you work with. One more thing is always be thinking about what you want to do after the current job that you're in. I'm at a crossroads where I have just under 5 months left, and I know what I'll be doing next for the Air Force as a civilian, but I'm also looking for opportunities for me to grow and also get promoted with the right job where I will enjoy and be able to do good things. I would not want a job where I get promoted, but I hate the job. To me, that's not important. I'd rather be making less and love the job that I do. So that's what I would recommend to you, is always think of what you want to do next, how you're going to get there, what it takes, are you qualified? If the answer is you're not qualified, how you can become qualified. Hopefully this video has helped you. Always ask questions. There's great people around you. Take advantage of those resources. Have a great day.